It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege of interviewing the St. Oliver's head softball coach, Coach Kayla Hatting. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
I'm doing good. Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to get started in coaching college softball?
Yeah, I played Division III softball at Luther College, and unfortunately, my freshman year, I tore my ACL in February, and so I kind of took on more of a managerial role. I saw, that side of things. I was the manager for our head coach, our assistant coach, kind of doing some behind the scenes things. So I think seeing that side of it, I kind of thought, hey, I could do this the rest of my life, and it was pretty exciting for me.
What was that experience like going to Lutheran College as a collegiate athlete?
Yeah, I mean, to put it lightly, it was a dream. I knew I always wanted to play college sports. I didn't know I played four sports in high school because I went to school in Iowa where we play softball in the summer. So I wasn't really sure which sports I wanted to play. I kind of started out playing volleyball and softball, and then decided to just focus on softball at the collegiate level. But it was a dream. I had phenomenal coaches. I had great teammates. We were pretty successful when I played there, and I had the best experience that I could have asked for.
What was that experience like for you representing Lutheran College and putting on that jersey for them?
Yeah, I think putting on a jersey representing any college is super, super important. I think, when you get to step out on that field and you get to be you on that field and represent something that's greater than yourself, and you get to represent your teammates and your coaches, it's the best feeling ever. And I wasn't really a big fan of royal blue before, but when I got used to it, and I really love the color after playing there for 5 years. But there's nothing like putting on a jersey for the first time. It's nerves, it's excitement. You feel very proud putting it on, and I'll never forget the moment.
What were some of your biggest college accomplishments as a softball player?
Yeah, we were pretty successful as a team. I played for a fifth year because I was a medical redshirt my first year, and so I came in as a right-handed hitting shortstop. And a couple years into my career, I actually turned into a lefty slapper catcher, and that was pretty exciting for me to see all those different types of positions and sides of the plate, which obviously has helped me a ton as a college coach now. But we made it to the NCAA World Series four times when I was there. Obviously made it to the regional five times when I was there. We had some conference championships, some conference tournament championships. We were pretty successful as a team. So I was blessed to see kind of some of the greats of the greats. We just honored one of my friends at the Hall of Fame this past weekend, and so I got to play with some pretty spectacular players.
As a player, what was that memory like getting to play in the College World Series?
You can't compare, especially now that I'm coaching Division III softball. Like, it's something that I just want my student athletes to feel. It's just big time, right? And obviously there's many different levels to play at the collegiate level. And we were Division III, but when you're at the, NC2A World Series, it's just, you feel so important. You feel super special in those moments. It's all that matters at that time, and to be at the epitome of your career, and to be at the final eight. No one else is playing softball at that time, right? And so you are so blessed to be able to play softball while everyone else is just sitting on their couch or doing whatever else they want to do. So it's an experience that I carry with me as a head coach now, and one that I want to hopefully give to my student athletes someday.
How was that transition like for you going from being a player to getting into grad assistant?
Different. I did stay an extra year at Luther, so I was, a little bit older when I graduated, 22, but I was still the same age as some of the seniors that I had when I was at Augie. But, the head coach that I worked for, Greta Melstead, she made it a really nice transition, allowed me to be myself and to be the young assistant that could be fun and, be myself around the student athletes, but yet take on that next role as also, I am a coach and there are boundaries and I have to follow these certain things. And so kudos to Greta for making that transition a lot easier than it could have been. So yeah, it was fun. At the end of the day, it was a cool experience.
How was that transition like going from Augie as the grad assistant to coming to St. Oliver as the grad assistant?
Um, yeah, going from grad assistant and then getting the head job at St. Olaf was I wasn't ready for it. No one is, right? Like I was 25. I hadn't really had that head coaching experience. I worked under people my entire life, and now I'm in charge of young women that are almost the same age as me. And so, I wanted to do it. It was my dream job. I always knew I wanted to be a Division III head coach. And when I landed it right out of grad school at the age of 25, I was shocked. I wasn't prepared for it. But I was super, super excited. And so I messed up a lot, right? Like I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I messed up a lot. I admitted when I was wrong all the time. And, that helped me create relationships with our kids. And, it was nerve-wracking, but it was the most rewarding transition.
What was that feeling like getting promoted to being the head coach for St. Olaf's?
Um, Overwhelming, I think. I remember getting the call from our athletic director at the time, Ryan Bowles, and I was sitting at my apartment in Sioux Falls because I was still at Augie, and I just remember sitting down and like not knowing how to react, and I accepted it on spot because I knew that's what I wanted. I didn't even have to think about it. And it was just an honor, honestly, for them to pick me to lead this program and to kind of turn this program around. It was nothing more than just excitement and honor, and then all of a sudden reality hit and now I had to figure it out. And so it was the coolest call that I got from Ryan.
For you, what was that feeling like after taking it and being the head coach, stepping onto that field for the first time as a head coach?
Yeah, I actually played on that field as a student athlete at Luther. We were reminiscing about that this past weekend. It was cold, it was snowing, it was terrible. But I remember playing on that field, and then so to be able to step on that field as the head coach and to lead these young women, it was different. It was cool, it was exciting, and there's nothing more than I wanted to do is then create a legacy for these young women, and create something on that field that they could be proud of.
As a head coach, how has that been like building a coaching staff around you and the players around you?
Really fun. I know, my current assistant, our number one assistant, Julie Graff, she actually played for me for 5 years at St. Olaf. And so to be able to coach with her now as my assistant after getting to coach her for 5 years is just an honor and a privilege every single day. I love coming to work with her. She's funny, she's goofy. We kind of built this program together for 8 years. But one of my first assistants, Patrick Watzinski, is still with us. I hired Shay Hoskins, who played at University of Sioux Falls. And she was, we played against them when I was at Augie. And so that connection was really fun. And so to be able to pick your staff and be able to learn from them is all I want, right? I want people that are smarter than me. I want people that can challenge me. And that's what I get every single day working with Patrick and working with Julie. And now, some of our former student athletes are volunteer assistants for us. So, it's fun. It's fun recruiting for St. Olaf. It's fun, finding kids that want to buy into this program and want to buy into what the school and program is. And so, we get to create this culture of young women that just want to be here, right? And to be able to be coached by former athletes, for our student athletes to be able to be coached by Julie is just a dream for them.
Can you talk about, of course, the culture that you've started to build for the softball program?
Yeah, I always say the culture is built by the student athletes. When I first got here in 2016, obviously I had to change some things, and there are some things that need to be changed. But there was also a really, really solid base from the former head coach Ruthie Nuger, and so she had a great base, and I got to kind of put some things in place. And at the end of the day, the student athletes run with it. It's their culture, it's their team. I get to kind of lead it and oversee it. But at the end of the day, they create the culture, right? The culture is the people, and that's our student athletes, and so they've created this family, they've created love. We say love a lot, we hug a lot, and that's why they fight for each other on the field. And so they have created this culture of ease, this culture of welcomeness. Every time our freshmen come into this program, they feel welcome day one. And that's not the same case everywhere. But these student athletes have created this culture of excellence, this culture of success, and this culture of family. And I'm just proud to be along the ride with them.
What are some of the things that you do during your game day routines and rituals?
Yeah, baseball and softball are probably two of the most superstitious sports there are. So there are a lot of superstitions. My assistant and I are very superstitious with what the coffee that we drink and the food that we eat before the game. I know our girls are the same way. They eat and drink usually the same thing. They have their own routines, whether it's our warm-up routine is the same every single time. We arrive the same time. We do the same thing, 2 hours before game day. We kind of move in the same process. But it's very ritual, it's very superstitious, and those change every year. I think what I drink and what I eat changes every year. And same with our student athletes, but it's kind of fun, and you kind of got to poke fun at it because it's really silly. Like the fact that you think that eating and drinking something is going to affect the performance or the outcome is so silly, but you're afraid to see what happens if you don't do it. So, it's pretty chill though. I like to get up and work out and have some coffee in the morning, kind of chill at my house for a little bit before coming in and getting stuff ready. But it's just exciting, it's we try to have a routine, just so that it's not different and the girls have some sort of ease with, we know this is what's happening, and we can be ready at that point.
Who are some of the teams in your conference that you compete against?
Oh man, the Minnesota Intercollegiate Athletic Conference. Geez, I don't want to miss anyone. We've got Scholastic Concordia. We have Gustavus, St. Mary's, St. Kate's, St. Ben's, Bethel. Boy, I'm going to keep missing some. Hamlin, Augsburg, McAllister, Carlton. I think I got most of them there. So hopefully all within the, obviously the state of Minnesota, but a lot of them up in the Twin Cities area.
What is that home game atmosphere like when teams like Gustavus comes to home versus going to St. Catherine?
Yeah, we love playing at home. We have home field advantage big time. Our field does not have the greatest surface, but we practice on it on a daily basis. And so our field is Mabel Shirley. So we call it the Mabel Hops, the Mabes Hops. And it hops a lot. And so we love being at home. We love playing on our own field. We know how it plays. We know how it works. And in beyond the outfield, there's like this big hill. And so for us, people have picnics, people bring blankets, they bring signs. We get a lot of student athletes, obviously a lot of parents. But the atmosphere is just electric, especially when baseball is going on right next to us. We have a lot of people that, whether it's at a conference or a non-conference opponent, we try to create that home atmosphere. Our families travel really, really well. We have a lot of people that come to games. And so, we travel well. And so we try to make it similar to what it is at home. But as far as field play, we love playing on Mabel. We love that home field advantage, and we love the environment that it creates.
For you as a coach, what is that like getting to coach against your alma mater, home and away?
Yeah, Luther has not come up to St. Olaf yet. Shout out Renee. We gotta get you up to St. Olaf. But we play them normally at neutral sites. We've played them down in Florida. We've played them in the Rochester Dome. We have not gone down there yet. We did a fall scrimmage against them, which was really, really cool to step on the field for the first time as a coach as opposed to a player. And that was a really special moment for me. But it's fun playing them. Unfortunately, we have not beat them. We've lost by one run every single time that we have played them. And it's always come down to the seventh inning, back and forth battle, seventh inning battle. And so, it's fun. I love playing against Renee and Terry, Miranda, Tracy, all those people that have been there and have been such a pivotal part of my career. I love when our student athletes get to see where I came from and the program that I came from and kind of be proud of that too. So it's a ton of fun, but hopefully hopefully we can connect in a postseason at someone's home field eventually.
So far as head coach, what have been some of the things that you've been able to accomplish so far?
Yeah, it's I don't know, it's just a privilege every day, and my accomplishments are student athletes' accomplishments, to be honest. Like I'm here to guide them and mentor them and support them, and whatever they succeed at, I succeed at. And that's the best part about it. We've obviously had a very successful program here since I've been here, and that's all because of student athletes. I haven't hit a ball, I haven't taken the field, I haven't done any of that. Our student athletes create the accomplishments here. And so we've been successful on the field, but the largest accomplishments are just seeing what they do off the field, all the things that they're involved in. We were at a play the other day, or last week we're at a play. One of our student athletes is in the theater department here. And so our whole team showed up and watched her perform in her first play. And that was a huge accomplishment for us. And, we have a couple of our student athletes are in the band and going to band concerts. Like those are just accomplishments that I just love. Post grad, going to weddings of former players is big time, meeting their fiancés now, husbands and wives. Those are the things that I look forward to, and those are the accomplishments I hang my hat on. Obviously, I want us to be successful in the field, and I want us to be, a contender for postseason every single year. But at the end of the day, like softball's for 4 years, right? And we get to impact them through the sport of softball for 4 years. But what they're doing outside of softball and in the classroom and, outside the classroom are biggest accomplishments for me. I want them to feel good about themselves and, feel empowered to lead and do all these things outside of the softball field.
What does that recruitment process look like for those prospective softball players? And as a head coach, what do you look at in those prospective student athletes?
Yeah, really good question. I think, for every program and every level, it's completely different. So my answer is going to be different than any other softball coach that you talk to, probably because we all have our own way. We recruit heavily seniors. We take note of juniors. So right now we're finishing our senior class, so our 25 class. And we're going to start our junior class right now. So we try to take one class at a time. We recruit such a small number of student athletes. We don't cast a huge net and try to land as many as we can. We really are particular about who we get into our program and who we pursue. And so we get to recruit one class at a time. We really get to make them feel special and talk to them a lot and get them on campus and put them through all the day in the life of things. But we have the opportunity to make them feel special year by year, and that's the fun part. So we want people that want to make our program better physically on the field, and we want people in our program that are just phenomenal humans, right? They're very involved. They're kind, they're respectful, but they're also gritty and competitive, right? We want people that want to have an impact in this program. And at the end of the day, we want people that this is their dream school, right? Luther was my dream school. I didn't know it until I visited that it was my dream school. And we want people that step on our campus and are like, this is where I want to be, right? And so, we find those types of people. And listen, our culture and our student athletes are across the board from different states, from different backgrounds, and the type of community that we have within our program and the community that we have at St. Olaf, really tends and meets the needs of all of our student athletes. And so, but yeah, it's, one class at a time, watching a lot of softball games, going to a lot of camps, working a lot of camps, a lot of texts, a lot of calls, a lot of emails. It's an everyday thing. Recruiting never stops. But I love it. I'm a social bug, so I love meeting kids and meeting their parents, and that's really special process for us.
How is that feeling like getting to see them fall in love with the campus and the softball facility?
Oh, the best. There's nothing better than bringing people into our home. This is our home. I am here way more often than I am in my own house. And so this is our home, and our kids live here 9 months out of the year. And so when people come in and they fall in love with it, just like, I did, and just like our current student athletes did, it's the best feeling, when they walk away and they say like, this is my number one school, or like, this is where I want to play. It just melts your heart. I'm also a sappy sucker. So that's not hard to do, but our kids treat our recruits so well when they come on campus. And for student athletes, prospective student athletes to come on campus and see something in our student athletes and see how kind they are and see how genuine they are. That's the best feeling as a head coach. That's when you have the right people here, you have the right people in place to really build something special.
As a head coach, what is it like seeing those freshmen put on that St. Olaf's jersey for the first time?
Oh man, again, the best. Like we are very protective of that jersey. We don't do the whole like we don't put prospective student athletes in jerseys. We don't take their pictures in the jerseys. Like I'm very particular about that because I want that first time to be when you have committed to this program and you are all into this program. And so even in the fall, we don't really put on our jerseys until first day of spring, right? When we're playing that first dome game in the spring. And so it's just cool. There's a lot of selfies being taken, a lot of 0.5s. That's a big thing now. There's a lot of pictures, a lot of videos being taken because at the end of the day, when they step into the locker room and they see that jersey hanging up, like they know they did it, right? They know they did all the right things to get here and put in the work to be able to earn that jersey. And you do earn it, right? So, we don't allow anyone to put on that jersey until you have earned it for, multiple years of being recruited and then working your butt off, all fall and off season to be able to earn that jersey.
What is that like getting to see those seniors putting on that jersey for the last time representing the school?
Not good. No, I mean, we always hope that we never know when their last time is, and I think that saves me a lot of tears. Because we never know when their last time is, right? Like especially when you get to postseason, it's one and done. So you hope that you are really just continuing to win and win and win until it is the last time, and you never know when that's going to be, if you continue to make postseason. So I never have to think about it ahead of time. I think that's the saving grace is I actually never know when is their last time putting on that jersey because we have been blessed to make a lot of postseasons. And so I don't have to think about it. When the time comes and it is the last time and, our last game is there and I'm looking at them in the jersey for the last time, I lose it a little bit. It's 6 years of 2 years of being recruited and 4 years of 4 to 5 for some of them playing in that jersey. And you never want to see them take it off. I think they struggle taking it off for the last time. And I kind of take in the moment with my assistant and really embrace it because it is, again, putting that jersey on is super special. And so, we embrace it and we have all the feels. And we are a very sentimental group. So all the feels.
As a head coach, what is it like seeing them achieve those first big milestones in their career versus those last big milestones in their career?
I think when you see those final milestones as seniors, and sometimes, they're reaching these milestones for the first time, right? Some of them, I played for 4 years. Some of them, it's their first time playing. And so when you see them as seniors, all I think about is how they were as a freshman, right? The silly things that they did, the stupid decisions they made, how, uncoordinated they were when they first came in, or how they had no idea what the heck what was going on. And so when they're seniors and I see them at the epitome of their career and I see them thriving and finding all the success that they deserve, I can't help but think back to their freshman year when it was like, oh my gosh, right? And that's the fun part, is being able to see them grow throughout their 4 or 5 year career here. And being able to look back at those moments and remind them of that too, right? Like, this moment right here was because you were a freshman and you didn't know what the heck you were doing for the entire year. So, it's fun, it's special. And those are moments that you just never forget.
For you as a coach, what is that like getting to see them going into coaching after their playing career?
Yeah, that's also special. Like, when I look back at, why I am sitting in this chair right here is because of the phenomenal coaches that I had growing up. My dad was my little league coach and my mom was my high school coach, but I played basketball, volleyball, and ran track as well. And I had phenomenal coaches at the high school and the younger levels to allow me to fall in love with softball and fall in love with sport in general. And as I mentioned, when I went to the college level, and I had Renee and Terry, who were great mentors and role models for me. Like, they are legitimately the reason I am sitting in this chair right now. If I get to pass on that love and passion for the sport and coaching and see my kids go on and share that with future student athletes, that's all you can ask for. That's the best feeling. They've clearly had a good experience that they want to create that same culture and same experience for the youth and for younger student athletes. It's amazing, and even some of them that don't go into coaching, right? We have youth clinics here and we work camps and clinics and we try to get into the Northfield community as much as we can. Watching them give back to sports, watching them give back to softball, it melts my heart. It is so fun seeing the passion that they share with the younger generation. And so that's all I can hope for, right? That I can continue to share my love and passion for this sport, and for the game, and that they can, continue to go on and do the same for others.
What are some of your future plans for the program moving forward?
Yeah, we have a lot of big picture ideas, and Julie and I on a daily basis, we're talking about big pictures, right? That's what drives us every day and leads us every single day are those big picture items. And, we've been decently successful for 8 years. And at the end of the day, like, we want these young women to leave a legacy in this program, right? Every year that happens, we want it to be more successful than the year before. And every year, every group that comes in, we want them to be the most successful group that comes in. And so, that means on the field, it also means off the field. Like, in this program, we want to continue to contend for postseason, right? We want to continue to be in the MIAC championship game. We want to continue to contend for that NCAA bid. Whether it's the auto bid by winning the conference or, the at-large bids, we want to continue to be a national contender. But we also want our kids to continue to be wonderful humans. We're never going to play this game with disrespect. We're always going to respect our opponents. We're always going to respect the game. And so I never want that to change. I always want to continue to have young women in here that want to make a positive impact on the sport and play the game the way it's supposed to be. So, obviously we want to be top of the MIAC and we want to be top in the nation, right? We want to continue to be contenders for that. But we want to do it the right way, and we want to have the right kids in this program to be proud of what we've accomplished.
What advice would you give those incoming freshmen entering their first year of college softball?
Yeah, great question. It'll probably sound silly, but say yes to a lot of things. I think when you come in as a freshman, it is scary. And you don't know what to do. And it's a little nerve-wracking putting yourself out there. And, doing certain things and signing up for clubs and saying yes to social activities and social events. But you have to, right? Like say yes to so many things. You can always like take some away later, and you can always downsize, but listen, some of those formidable like relationships happen within your first few months at college. And how do you know who those people are? How do you know what you're capable of if you don't just do it? And so be okay with being uncomfortable. Put yourself in social situations that are uncomfortable. Sign up for a club that you've never heard of that has interest to you. Come out on the softball field and look like an idiot because you are trying so hard and you just failed. Like do it, do all the things, right? Be okay with failing. We have a failure sport, and if you succeed 3 times out of 10 at the plate, you're a really good hitter. And so our sport is full of failure, and like be comfortable with failing. Say yes to a lot of things and be comfortable with failing, to figure out what you want and what you love and who those people are that you can connect with.
What advice would you give those college juniors transitioning into being college seniors and leading the program?
Yeah, I always encourage our juniors going into their senior year to, find people that they looked up to and looked after, and try to do some of those same things, but also create your own leadership style. I have the same way where I've had a lot of people in my past that, have created my leadership style and who I am today. And a lot of things that I didn't like that I also wanted to change. And I added my own spin to it, my own very sarcastic, very goofy, and I've added my spin to it too. And so for our juniors becoming a senior, like number one, first and foremost, be you. Right? Like no one wants to lead someone that's fake. No one wants to lead someone that is trying to be someone else. But we always have those people in our life that we looked up to and were mentors of ours. And so you want to use some of their characteristics that you enjoyed, but also put your own spin on it and be yourself. So I am big into like being authentic and being genuine. And that's all we can be, right? And if people don't like you for that and people don't want to follow you for that, then that's fine, right? That's okay. You don't need to force people to like you or follow you as long as you're being yourself. And so find a way, and at the end of the day, make your stamp on this program, right? You're going into your senior year, and what's your stamp? What legacy do you want to lead after you leave?
What advice would you give those college seniors transitioning into either playing professionally with Athletes Unlimited or going into coaching after their playing career?
Yeah, I think it's like the big thing is keep dreaming, right? And keep following those dreams. And it's easy to have a dream and just say you have a dream and then do nothing about it. But you got to work your tail off for that dream, right? And so if you just say like, hey, I want to be a part of Athletes Unlimited, but then your actions every day don't follow that, well, it's not much of a dream, right? It's not much of a reality for you. So if being a college coach is what you want to do, then you got to work your tail off. You got to put in hours. You've got to put in a lot of volunteer hours. You got to put yourself out there and learn the craft, day in and day out, right? That's just a part of it. And same thing, if you want to go play professionally, like you have to put the work in and day out. And that's not for everyone, right? There's a very small number of people who have the opportunity to play professional softball. But if that is something that you want to do, then your actions have to match your words. But never give up on that, right? And at the end of the day, like your career will end at some point, whether it's with us at St. Olaf your senior year, or whether it's you get to go on and play and do cool things. But embrace it every single day and work your tail off every single day, because at some point you will have to hang up those cleats. Some sooner than later, and some get it can continue playing. But make sure your actions are following your words and what you want to do and who you want to be.
What advice would you give those future assistant coaches out there looking to go from being assistant to a head coach?
Yeah, very similar. Like you have to go through the grind and you have to do the crappy things to become a head coach. And I mean that in the nicest way possible. Like you got to start at the bottom of the ladder before you can move up. And so you have to be willing to put in time that isn't paid, right? You can't, I think so much everyone wants to be compensated for their time. And at the end of the day, that's not how life works, right? Like experience. And sometimes experience comes with unpaid experience, right? And so you have to be able to put yourself out there, put the hours in, ask a lot of questions, follow a lot of people. But at the end of the day, it's time. It's time, it's investment. And sometimes that's not compensated. So if you're looking at, being paid for all these things, or having paid assistantships and paid grad assistantships, it's not going to happen all the time, right? I was very blessed with where I went at Augustana University. I got my education paid for, and Greta was very grateful to find me some extra cash to be able to live. But listen, I was still working at the bakery, Hy-Vee Bakery, at 3 a.m. to make ends meet because I knew I wanted to be a coach and I had a passion for it. And so I had to work at the bakery to be able to live and survive. And then I got to coach all day. And that's just what you have to do. You're working 20-hour days to try to survive and, get a few hours of sleep and get up the next day and do the same thing. But you don't just get maybe it happens sometimes, but very rarely you're just going to get handed an opportunity. You have to create your opportunities, and it starts with, just putting in the work every single day.
What advice would you give those future college softball coaches out there looking to be head coaches and building their own program?
I think that's the biggest thing, is like building your program, but you don't have a program without people. You don't have a program without student athletes. And so, when I think about, quote unquote, my legacy is in my student athletes, right? So, they create the legacy here. They create the program, they create the culture here. And if you want to create a culture and you want to be a head coach, you need to invest in people. And that's your student athletes. Because at the end of the day, you don't have a team without them, right? You can lead and you can be the best coach ever, but if you don't have kids that want to follow you, and you don't have kids that have a passion for the game, you don't have much, right? So the best thing you can do is invest in people, right? That's the coolest thing about our job, is we get to hang out with people every single day. We're not sitting at a desk all day. Obviously that comes with the territory, but we get to be with people. We get to invest in people, and let them do what they want to do, and let them do what they see fit for this program. So you want to create a program and you want to be a head coach, get to know the place you're at, but invest in the people, right? Because that's what's going to create the program.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media along with the softball program at?
Yeah, Kayla Hatting, Kayla Hat-Trick on almost everything, St. Olaf softball on almost everything. We, both of us, myself and our program, have Twitter, we have Instagram, we have Facebook. So we're kind of on everything. I think our girls kind of started TikTok as of recently. So you may find St. Olaf softball on TikTok as well. But yeah, mostly all social media platforms.
Thank you again, Coach Kayla Hatting, for your interview, and best of luck in your future as the head softball coach at St. Olaf.
Thank you so much, Brandon. Appreciate it.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Coach Kayla Hatting, for your interview, and best luck in the future.
Thank you so much.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.